Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gaura Premanandi Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudirayed Nasta prayesha vadreshu Nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttamaśloke Bhaktir bhavati nashtaki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 31, Text 16. jñānam yat etad adadhāt katamaḥ devas. Brahma Samhita. Jñānam yat etad adadhāt katamaḥ devas. Trai-kālikam sthira-careṣu anuvartitāṁśaḥ. Tam jīva-karma-padavīm anuvartamānās. tāpa-trayopaśamanāya vayaṁ bhajema. jñānam etad adadhāt katamaḥ devas. trai-kālikam sthira-careṣu anuvartitāṁśaḥ. Tam jīva-karma-padavīm anuvartamānās. tāpa-trayopaśamanāya vayaṁ bhajema. Gracias. Jñānam etad adadhāt katamaḥ devas. trai-kālikam sthira-careṣu anuvartitāṁśaḥ. Tam jīva-karma-padavīm anuvartamānās. tāpa-trayopaśamanāya vayaṁ bhajema. Ladies, tam jīva-karma-padavīm anuvartamānās. Jñānam, knowledge, yat, which, etat, this, adadhāt, gave, katamaḥ, who other than, saha, that, devaḥ, the personality of Godhead, trai-kālikam, of the three phases of time, sthira-careṣu, and in the inanimate and animate objects, anuvartita, dwelling, aṁśaḥ, his partial representation, tam, and to him, jiva, of the jiva souls, karma-padavīm, the path of fruitive activities, anuvartamānāḥ, who are pursuing, tāpa-traya, from the threefold miseries, upāśamanāya, for getting free, vayaṁ, we, bhajema, must surrender. Translation. No one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the localized Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord, is directing all inanimate and animate objects. He is present in the three phases of time, past, present, and future. Therefore, the conditioned soul is engaged in different activities by his direction. And in order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditional life, we have to surrender unto him only. Purport. When a conditioned soul is seriously anxious to get out of the influence of the material clutches, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within him as Paramatma, gives him this knowledge: surrender unto me. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, give up all other engagement, just surrender unto me. It is to be accepted that the source of knowledge is the Supreme Person. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Matta smritir jñānaṁ apohanam ca. The Lord says, through me one gets real knowledge and memory, and one also forgets through me. To one who wants to be materially satisfied or who wants to lord it over material nature, the Lord gives the opportunity to forget his service and engage in the so-called happiness of material activities. Similarly, when one is frustrated in lording it over material nature and is very serious about getting out of this material entanglement, the Lord from within gives him the knowledge that he has to surrender unto him. Then there is liberation. This knowledge cannot be imparted by anyone other than the Supreme Lord or his representative. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya instructs Rupa Goswami that the living entities wander in life after life, undergoing the miserable conditions of material existence. But when one is very anxious to get free from the material entanglement, he gets enlightenment through a spiritual master and Krishna. This means that Krishna, as the super soul, is seated within the heart of the living entity. And when the living entity is serious, the Lord directs him to take shelter of his representative, a bona fide spiritual master. Directed from within and guided externally by the spiritual master, one attains the path of Krishna consciousness, which is the way out of the material clutches. Therefore, there is no possibility of one's being situated in his own position unless he is blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless he is enlightened with the supreme knowledge, one has to undergo the severe penalties of the hard struggle for existence in the material nature. The spiritual master is therefore the mercy manifestation of the Supreme Person. The conditioned soul has to take direct instruction from the spiritual master, and thus he gradually becomes enlightened to the path of Krishna consciousness. The seed of Krishna consciousness is sown within the heart of the conditioned soul. And when one hears instruction from the spiritual master, the seed fructifies and one's life is blessed. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkest of ignorance. My spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble respectful obeisance unto him. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Guravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation again. No one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the localized Paramatma, the partial representation of the Lord, is directing all inanimate and animate objects. He is present in the three phases of time, past, present, and future. Therefore, the conditioned soul is engaged in different activities by his direction. And in order to get free from the threefold miseries of this conditional life, we have to surrender unto him only. It's very clear that there is no way out of this material world but to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Once a young man asked Prabhupada, I know I have many wrong ideas and I have to bow down my head, but I don't know where I have to do it, or why should I do it? And Prabhupada told him, first you have to understand that no matter what, you always have to bow down your head to so many things. To old age, to disease, to death. You have to, willingly or unwillingly, you have to bow down your head anyway, to so many things. So, human life, you can try to find out where I can bow down my head, where will make me happy. That by doing so will make me happy. And the answer is, we only can be happy when we bow down our head at the feet of the Supreme Lord. Once a lady asked Prabhupada, please can you tell me how practically speaking, we can surrender to Krishna, at the present moment, how we surrender to Krishna. And Prabhupada told her, if you follow this four regulative principle, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, that means you're surrendering to Krishna. If you don't follow them, then you are not surrendering to Krishna. There is no surrender. A simple, practical way to understand how we surrender to Krishna by following the instruction of Krishna and his representative. Prabhupada once said that if I haven't asked for people who want to be my disciple to follow this four regulative principle, I will not have thousands, I will have millions of disciples. So the thing is, Krishna is not cheap. He has full surrender unto him only. Okay, I may surrender to Krishna, but also, give a little more time for other things, other than Krishna. Krishna say, no, only to me. There's a nice story in the Mahabharata where Krishna and Arjuna went to visit a widow devotee. She's a lady, very devoted to Krishna, very nice devotee. And she was poor. She had only one cow, and she would survive by selling the milk of that cow. So Krishna and Arjuna went there in disguise, and she offered them a glass of milk and some nice word, and Krishna was happy to see her. And when they left, Arjuna told Krishna, my dear Krishna, your poor devotee, why you don't give him some little better material, situation, so she doesn't have to struggle so much? And Krishna told Arjuna, actually, I'm going to bless her that tomorrow her cow will die. And Arjuna was shocked. Krishna, how can you be so cruel? She's depending on this cow to survive. How that you were going to make the cow die? And Krishna smiled, said, Arjuna, try to understand. She's very attached to me, but she's also very attached to this cow. And she's very old. She's going to die soon. And if she's attached to the cow, she may think of the cow. That's not good for her. But if the cow dies, then she will surrender fully only unto me. And then when she will die, she will think of me only. So that's my blessing, that the cow has to die. I mean, we know from Prabhupada's life that Prabhupada said that one astrologer told him that he will be a very rich man in India, one of the richest men in India. So Prabhupada thought, okay, that's very good. Since my guru gave me the instruction, if I get money, print books, then I shall become rich man and print many books to please my guru. That was Prabhupada's idea. But Krishna had a different plan for him. Some thieves broke into his laboratory. They stole all the valuable equipment. He was bankrupt, completely bankrupted. So he remembered one shloka from the Shastra that says that when Krishna favors a devotee, especially favors a devotee, he takes away all the material things from him. Then he have no other resource than just surrender. So he discussed this with some of his gallbladders, and they confirmed, yeah, that is your actual situation. Krishna wants you to surrender fully. And that, then when Prabhupada took Vanaprastha, went to Vrindavan, whatever was left, he gave his children to take care. They were a grown-up man, But I mean to say, it's not an easy thing to fully surrender to Krishna. We want also to keep something for ourselves, But Krishna is very, very demanding in the sense he has the full right to demand from us because we are a small part of him, we belong to him. He has full right to demand, surrender unto me. He has the right to do it. Some people protest, no, Krishna is demanding too much. No, he doesn't come to this material world to convince some soul to surrender to him because he needs some servants. No, he can create millions of servants in a second. But because he is very kind and merciful, he wants to help this poor conditioned soul to get the real life, which is eternal, blissful life, full of knowledge. That's the real life of all souls. This material life is a miserable life. It's a temporary life. And the problem is that we get attached to so many things, and we think that these things can make us happy or can protect us. Thank you. Okay. This reminds me one example. Once I was giving a lecture in one university in Central America, El Salvador, in the theological department. And one student asked me this question. You said that God created the universe. I said, yes. He said, I agree with that, but we see that there is a lot of evil in the world. So how can God be all good at the same time create evil? If he created the world, that means he created evil too. He said, no. I told him, I'm going to answer your question with another question. Do you believe that darkness exists? He said, yes, darkness exists. I said, no, darkness doesn't exist. Darkness is only the absence of light. If at night you put off the light in a room and then you turn it on again, you don't see half the room in darkness fighting the light to stay. You don't see such a, that's only science fiction. So darkness is only the absence of light. In the same way, evil is when people turn their back to God. We create evil, not God. It's the absence of God in the heart of people, in the life of people. We create evil, not God. This idea of the Abrahamic religion of Satan, and, Lucifer and all this stuff. From where that comes? This comes from an Iranian philosopher called Zarathustra. He's from 4,000 years ago or so. He came with this idea that God must be all good. and he is in his heaven, in his kingdom. But we see so many bad things happening in this world, so many evil things happening. So that means the good God could not have created this horrible material world full of evil things. There must be two gods. One good God who's living in his own kingdom, another bad God who created the world. He went to India, tried to convince people with his philosophy of dual gods. He didn't succeed there much. They have better philosophy there. But then he went to the Middle East and he was able to convince the Jew that there is, two gods. One good, one bad. Of course, that bad God later on became Satan or the devil, whatever name you want to give to it. Because just think about this. God cannot have an eternal enemy. I mean, when Krishna came to this world, many enemies there, many demons were there, but he killed all of them. Of course, Shastra said that the demons who Krishna didn't kill, in Kali Yuga they were born in a Brahmin family. to give them the opportunity to rectify themselves if they are willing to. But I mean, all the big demons, Krishna killed all of them. So if there's really somebody opposing God eternally and he has his kingdom in hell, why God cannot go to hell, finish him up and finish the business? If he's all powerful, he can do that, isn't? So this idea of dualistic God is made up story. even one of the popes, John Paul II, I think, he said that this story of Adam and Eve is just allegorical. It's not historical, it's allegorical. That the soul disobeyed God, that's why was kicked out of the paradise. So anyway, once Gaur Govinda Maharaj said a story about one of his female disciples who was very attached to cows. Do you remember? When she was an old lady, and when she died, he said that he could perceive that she was born as a cow in a heavenly planet. So, I mean to say, this thing can happen, we have to be careful, even as devotees. Remember the story of Bharat Maharaj. He was distracted by a deer. And now we are distracted by so many things. Modern the amenities and what is they call the industry of entertainment, multi-billion dollars, because people are bored, they need to be entertained. But devotees, they're never bored because we have such a high goal in life, such high spiritual knowledge. Once a reporter asked Prabhupada, what do you do for entertainment? Prabhupada said, we dance in front of the deities. We dance, and I mean, for devotee a festival, what it means for us a festival? Come together, chant and dance, hear about Krishna, hear about Srila Prabhupada, and that's for us a festival. A nice prasad, of course, it should be there too. I mean to say, it is a simple, blissful way of life that Prabhupada brought us for all of us, no? So, when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Matta smritir jñānam apohanam cha vedascha sarvairaham eva vedyo vedanta vid krivedavid eva chaham, he's saying that the soul are forgetting because they want to. I'm helping them to forget if they want. If they want knowledge, if they want to regain their memory, I will also help them. How I will help them? Through the Vedas, through the actual knowledge, through the scripture. That's the way the Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, helped the conditioned soul, those who are serious about getting out. Prabhupada said, you don't need a spiritual master if you are not interested in the spiritual life. If people usually go to some sadhu guru to ask for material blessings. Now, once Prabhupada was traveling in train in India, and some farmers who were in the train also, they came to know that a saint, a sadhu, was in the train, so they wanted to see him ask for his blessing. But Prabhupada was resting in the coach, and his disciple, Ramakrishna Maharaj, others, they say, no, he's now resting, he can't. But at one point, one of the devotees opened the door, and there was eye contact between those farmers and Prabhupada. So when there was eye contact, Prabhupada said, okay, let them come, I have to. Since we saw each other, I can't deny them, now. So they came in. Prabhupada said, yes. They said, can you please give us your blessings? Prabhupada said, what kind of blessing will you like me to give you? One of the men said, well, I need to marry my daughter, but I don't have enough money, and because there was not enough rain, so not much crops. Can you please bless me so I can have a better crop next year, so I can get enough money for the dowry? Prabhupada smiled. And then the other man, what else you want? The other man. So the other man said, oh, I have a pain for many years here in my back. Can you bless me that this will go away? And the third man said something similar to that, I have some debt to pay, and bless me, I can get the money to do it. Prabhupada smiled, and here I was surrendered by brahmachari sannyasi. Prabhupada showed them, if you want, I can bless you to become like one of them, like them. And the farmer said, no, thank you, I'm not ready for that. They left immediately. That's the position of sadhu, to cut off your attachment, material attachment. Once Prabhupada was giving lecture, and he was speaking very heavily, about material existence, you have to become detached. And one lady raised her hand and said, oh, you are being very cruel, very harsh. And Prabhupada said, and what is your compassion? If somebody comes to you and he had a boil in his hand, and you blow at it, oh, poor thing, you blow at it. Still have the same pain. But if he comes to me and I cut off the boil, he may feel pain, but he will be cured. So that's my program, Prabhupada said, to cure people from their material disease. Because everybody is so entangled, so attached to material life. They think this is the all in all. They don't think there is anything more than that. So that's the biggest illusion in this world. Every day people are dying. We know or we don't know them. But those who we are left, we think, oh, he's dying, I will continue living. You know the story of the cow dung? In India, they make cow dung cakes, They put them to dry on the sun, and when they dry up, they use them for food, for cooking, whatever. So the wet cow dung is telling the dry cow dung, ha ha ha, they are gonna burn you up. And who's next? It's only a question of time, a little time. So that's the point. We have to know this is only a question of time. We are all gonna die. And what we are doing to achieve success before dying. Not we wait until the last minute, to repent for our sins. Last minute, somebody will bless you, the priest, and you're done, you're going to heaven. It's not sentimental. Prabhupada said religion without philosophy is sentimental or can even be fanatical. And philosophy without God is just mental speculation. So the process of Krishna consciousness is to actually understand what Krishna wants from us. What means surrender? Means to know what Krishna wants from us. And what Krishna wants from us, manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaisasi satyam te prattijane priyosime. 4 things. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your obeisance to me. 4 things. Simple. So that's what Krishna wants from. And why he wants that? Because he loves us. He doesn't want to see us suffering in this material world. And he knows the only way we can get out of this miserable condition in life is to become fully devoted to him, fully surrendered to him. There is no other way. There is no other way. When Lord Chaitanya recited this mantra from the Vedas, you know the mantra? In the festival, we hear the letter, Prabhupada sent a letter to some politician saying that he found a way how to go back to Godhead, and he wanted to take with him as many people as possible. You remember that letter? So Prabhupada told the same thing to his godbrother, Dr. Kapoor. He told him, I found the formula to go back to Godhead, and I don't want to go alone. I want to take with me as many people as possible. And Dr. Kapoor said, I also want to go. Please tell me what is the secret. And Prabhupada says, it's an open secret for everyone. You have to wear a garland of the verse, Trinada pi sunichera taror api sahisnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. If you put this mala on you, carry on you, that's the formula. The only formula to go back to Godhead. No? So the verse said that we have to be lower than the blade, straw in the street. Why not the blade of grass? Blade of grass also on the floor. You can step on it, but when you take your foot off, start to rise back again. So it's not a good symbol of humbleness, the blade of grass. But the straw is there. The wind can take it one way or the other. It will not put any resistance. So the straw is better symbol to explain humbleness. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur say very nice things. Say, you may feel it's very difficult to be humble like that. But we should remember that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said that the size of the soul, how much is the size of the soul in the Bhagavad Gita? A tip of a hair, isn't it? So that's more small than the straw. So to feel oneself low and humble like that, it's not difficult knowing that we are smaller than the blade of grass. Do you know the saying, not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord? Have you heard this? Do you know from where this comes? This comes from one pastime of Lord Vishnu. Once, with the help of Lord Vishnu, the demigod, the devatas, defeated the asuras, the demons. So the devatas, they were very proud. This is from one of the Puranas. So they were very, very proud. And they were like, yes, we are very powerful. We defeated the asuras. We are great, So Vishnu wanted to teach them a lesson in humility. And he took in his finger a blade of grass. And he told them, oh, okay, Vayu, can you make it move a little bit? Yeah, of course. He blew all his wind, didn't move an inch. He told Indra, okay, can you cut it in half with your thunderbolt? Nothing happened. Agni, can you make it change color? Nothing. So they understood, without the will of the Lord, not even a blade of grass can move. So they all surrendered at the feet of Lord Vishnu, asking forgiveness for their pride, So it's a very important lesson to learn from Shastra, Prabhupada said, I can fill the world with so many stories from the Shastra, from the Puranas. People in Kali Yuga, people are more interested in stories than philosophy. So we can give them so many interesting stories they can learn from. We can flood the whole world. And we have in our scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna books, so many wonderful stories people can hear. Prabhupada said, they are not a story, they are history. So that's very important. Now's the time. If you have any comments or questions, please do. Please give the mic here.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. You mentioned about how Zarathustra came up with that idea.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, where did he get the idea from? Because I'm always under the impression that all religious ideas are actually derivatives from the Vedic culture. That is, like it starts off with, like in the Satya Yuga, you have the Vedic Sanatan Dharma, and then as a result of mission drift, more or less, like Sakaleneha Mahata Yoga Nashta Parantapa, things get watered down as time goes on, and they Parashuram drove the Kshatriyas out of India, and so that's always been my impression. Is that correct, or I was just is there more to that story of Zarathustra?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something very interesting. He said, all religions are either progressions toward Sanatan Dharma or deviation from it. So either way, either progressing to Vaishnavism or deviating from it. So many Kshatriyas, they fled Parashurams, and they went to different countries, so they made up their own philosophy of things. That's most probably deviation from the Vedic culture. When Prabhupada was visiting us in South America, Venezuela, by the way, I just printed the book, Srila Prabhupada in Venezuela, in English. It's the very little known pastimes of Prabhupada. There are more than 30 pictures of Prabhupada there in South America. And amazing stories. One of the most amazing stories I hear from Prabhupada during a morning walk, he was asked by a lawyer why there is some similarity between Vedic culture and the pre-Hispanic culture in South America, Mexico and South America. Prabhupada said because previously all of them were following Vedic culture and gradually they start deviate from it. And Prabhupada told us that Lord Ramachandra went to Brazil. He said, Prabhupada, really Brazil? He said, yes. He was kidnapped while sleeping by Mahir Ravana, the brother of Ravana. And through a tunnel, like 5,000-6,000 miles, Prabhupada said, Hiranya, Ravana was a big engineer. He could do such a big tunnel, So Prabhupada told us and asked us that all the gold that was covering the houses in Sri Lanka was coming from the golden mines in Brazil. And he asked us if there was still gold in Brazil. We said, oh, plenty gold there, And Prabhupada said that the idea they kidnapped Lord Ramchandra was to sacrifice him in front of goddess Kali. They have a cave with a huge Kali deity. And they asked the Asuras, they asked Ramachandra, bow down in front of goddess Kali. Prabhupada explained that Lord Ramachandra said, I'm a prince, I don't know how to do this bowing down, you have to show me how to do it. And all the demons bowed down, and Lord Ramachandra took a sword, chop off their heads. And the Ramayana say that Hanuman was hiding behind the deity of Kali, and when Lord Ramachandra did that, Hanuman took another sword and helped him up. And that happened in Brazil. Prabhupada said. I made some little research for my book, about that, because Prabhupada said the name Brazil is not in the Ramayana, so how he came up with that name? Prabhupada made a straight line from Sri Lanka and ended in Brazil. Prabhupada said that place must be Brazil. So I made a little research and found out interesting things. You know, the previous name of Brazil is a new name. But the original inhabitants, they called that part of the world Pindo-Rama. The name Rama was in the country. Not only that, Pindo comes from Pinda. Pinda means offerings. Offering to Lord Rama. Another interesting thing, there is an abandoned 1,000 of years old city in the middle of the Amazon called Hanuman. You can find it you can Google it. Found it, Hanuman, with an H. Of course, they don't pronounce the H. They say Hanuman, but. And many other things. In Venezuela, there is the highest waterfall in the world. They call it Angel because one American pilot named Angel, he discovered it while flying with us in the 30s, in the year 30s. And do you know the name of that mountain is? Even up to today is Meru, Churu Meru. How they knew this name Meru? This name Meru is the celestial mountain. How they came to know this? Many more things. One amazing thing Prabhupada said while walking in the park, he said, he started speaking about the heavenly planet. He said, in the top of Mount Sumeru, which the peak is made of gold, grow up big mango trees. Each mango is the size of an elephant. When they ripe up and they fall from the top of the tree, they create a Jambu Nada, a mango river. And when they dry up, you know, the shores, they become gold. So the denizens of heaven, they come with their wives and they collect this semi-solid gold and they make necklaces and bracelets, and they don't have to work hard to buy the wife from the store some jewelry. They have it free. Prabhupada told us amazing things. One amazing thing Prabhupada said one morning, he said, the Vedas are like a kalpa vriksha, wish-fulfilling tree. Anything you want, you can. Not only spiritual, material also. He said, for example, there is a science in the Veda named Akash Patal, flying in the sky. By creating a machine, Vimana, they knew how to do that. One archaeologist from Germany went to India, a place called Mohenjo-daro, and he found an old, you know what you call? Vimana. No, not Vimana. He found what you call something written in a parchment or something, maybe in a palm or something. How to construct Vimana was 4,000 years old, this parchment anyway. I mean, things were there. And Prabhupada said, there is a mantra in the Vedas. If I chant it now, this Vyasasan will float in mid-air. And we were waiting, you know. Didn't happen, of course, but Prabhupada said there is such things. And many wonderful things. Very little known pastimes of Prabhupada. Things he said. So books are available for today, because tomorrow sometime I'm going to San Diego, but if you want, here it is. Any other question? Comments? Yes.
So you are telling the example of that student which asked why there is why there is evil, right? When God is all good, why there is evil? And your response was that evil is not like a darkness. Darkness doesn't exist. It is just absence of light, right?
Absence of light, yes.
Yeah. So there is no reality, there is no existence for darkness. But if we go with our line of understanding of Bhagavatam, basically, when there is Maya, right, and there are three modes of nature.
Yes.
So Maya is something which exists, because when Vyasadeva in Samadhi, when he saw Krishna, he saw Maya also.
Yeah.
So it's not an imaginary thing, it's something which exists. And three modes of nature also which exist. It's temporary, but it still exists.
Yes.
So, I mean, because Maya also, like, so impersonalists say that Maya is absence. But Vaishnavas, we say that Maya is something which exists, right? So, in that context, how do you explain the evil?
Well, I mean, it's a simple explanation why evil is the world. His argument was that God created evil. That was his argument. So how can God be good if he creates something evil? And my answer was, actually God didn't create evil. We create evil by turning away from God. So in the same way, Maya is a pure devotee. She's not a bad person. She just put us in illusion because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. So Maya gave us misery, and in the form threefold misery, no? Adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidaivika klesha. That's what Lord Chaitanya explained to Rupa Goswami, to Sanatana Goswami. So we don't deny the existence of Maya or the existence of the three modes of nature, but there is no comparison between that and the idea of God creating evil. It's a different thing. We are creating evil by forgetting God. By disobeying God, we misbehave, we create bad things to ourselves and to others, isn't it? So that's a different point.
Thank you.
We don't consider Maya evil, or the three modes are evil. They are not evil. They are Krishna's energies. For some reason they are there. For those who want to forget Krishna, they will be under the control. That's a way of rectifying the souls. In the same way that gold need to be heated and need to be, beaten to make ornament, in the same way the soul, rebellious soul we are here in this material world, need to be, rectified by suffering. That's the way Krishna is rectifying us. When we start suffering, we start, there must be real happiness somewhere. Not in this world, obviously. I read something interesting recently. One very famous artist, fashion designer, very rich man, and he had cancer. He was in the hospital, in a clinic, whatever, and he was reflecting. I have so many mansions in different parts of the world, and I have to be in this room. I have so many luxury dress made of silk and the best fashion, and I have to have this small, to cover my body, this small cloth to cover my body. I have the best food, and I only have to eat through intravenous, He said, the reality of this world is only death. Woody Allen, famous filmmaker, once he was interviewed, and they asked him, I hear that you are really very pessimistic. Is that true? He said, yes. Why? You are famous, you're rich, Why you're pessimistic? He said, well, since we are born, we have a death sentence on our head. And doesn't matter how beautiful, rich, or powerful you are, you have to die anyway. So it's not a good reason to be pessimistic. Of course, the devotee gave him the books. We hope he read them to become optimistic about spiritual life. We are very optimistic about spiritual life, and Prabhupada said we should be pessimistic about the material life. The more we become pessimistic about the material life, the more we advance in the spiritual life, Prabhupada said. So there's a difference between evil and Maya and the three modes. That's not the same. Can't be compared. Hare Krishna. All right, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.